Hi, I'm Jennifer. Welcome to Orton Gillingham Coaching. Today I'd like to talk about R-controlled vowels. I've talked about syllable types in my past posts, but within syllable types and before teaching any syllable type, you might have noticed I also always start with the vowel type. For example, I wouldn't start teaching closed syllables without first thoroughly covering short vowels. Teaching short vowels, we use things like drill cards, vowel strips, writing activities with sand, something like this, tracing the letters. We then graduate to putting vowels with consonants, and then we isolate those sounds by phonemes and manipulate all that, and then we start blending down sounds together. We introduce closed syllables after doing all that and immersion into short vowels and putting vowels with consonants. Then we start teaching about closed syllables, how closing it in makes that vowel short. We would do the same with a magic E. We teach that the vowel at the end, the E at the end, makes the vowel say its name. Then we move into the syllables of magic E after an immersion of teaching magic E as a vowel sound. Same with long vowels. We teach the long sound deeply before we teach anything about open syllables. So we do the same with R-controlled vowels. A student has to learn that an R with a vowel will make that vowel change its sound. It's going to make the sound change. Unfortunately, there are not a ton of rules surrounding the sounds of R-controlled vowels, but there are some guidelines for teaching those sounds. Just like most of my videos, you will find that most of everything I say will start with get out your phonogram cards. This is from my workbook 2, and it has cards in it that you can cut out and use. Otherwise, you could just use your own phonogram deck like this. So the deck is much bigger, and it gets way into how R affects many more vowels, but we want to just first start with these. I always teach OR and AR first. They're the most phonetic and spelled how they sound that in all of the R-controlled vowels. Things do get a little trickier when you're talking about ER, IR, and UR because they sound alike. They all sound just alike. So these you teach a little differently. So how do you teach these? You use your phonogram cards first, and you get your student used to seeing them, having the keyword, and OR, fork, or, AR, arm, ER, fern, IR, bird, UR, turtle, So that's the first thing we do, and we want them going as fast as possible. You know, get them, well, the cards are all turned around now. Just get them saying it, you know, OR, or, fork, and then you can drop the keywords eventually. As I mentioned, things get a little trickier once you get into ER, IR, and UR. ER is the most common spelling, so you can tell them that. That is one guideline. This is a sample worksheet from my workbook 2, R-controlled vowels, where I have students trace OR with a pen, OR, or, and then we move into reading some words, reading words and sentences if they're advanced enough, and then maybe doing some dictation. I would do OR and AR combined once you get those two, but I would not do ER, IR, and UR together until you really have a lot of sight recognition of those words. You're moving to the next R-controlled vowel and the next R-controlled vowel and the next R-controlled vowel, and then it really is about repetition and frequency and reading those words and seeing those words, especially with UR, ER, and IR. I don't want to call them sight words, but in a way, every word is a sight word. So dictation with particularly the last three, the UR, IR, ER, comes very slowly. You want to read a lot, compare and contrast. This is an example of a worksheet from my workbook 2 where I have the student contrast for and far, corn, car. So you're letting them see the difference, and then at the bottom they get to write, okay, this is OR, then this is AR, and so it just keeps, you know, and then we do and then we do combine ER in with OR and AR, so that It's a gradual process that they see the difference, read a lot of words. If you have some reading passages, that's great. So again, using any fun game you have, any tracing you have, the more they hear it, see it, write it, the three-pronged approach to kinesthetic, auditory, and visual, the more we get those three things in with all this, the faster it goes. And then you do get into R-controlled syllables, and you put those with words, and they can pick out and put a little R above it, but we'll talk about that in another video. For now, I just wanted to cover R-controlled vowels, and I'm going to also give you some guidelines on when things are used. That's coming right up. I want to give you some guidelines. These are for your students, but they are to be taught extremely slowly, like molasses slow. But for you as a teacher, if you don't know these guidelines, it could help. AR in a one-syllable word, or in the beginning or the middle of a word, says R, as in arm. AR at the end of a word will say as in dollar. And that is either UR pronounced or a schwa, as in It's making a short U sound, but the U is being changed by the R, so it's not sound like it sound like so dollar, that's advanced. ER in all positions says as in fern, which could look like a UR sound or an ER sound. OR in a one-syllable word or in the beginning or middle says or, as in fork. OR at the end of a word says as in doctor, is advanced. Again, that would be the schwa, or could be UR, changing the sound. IR in a one-syllable word or in the beginning and middle says as in bird. And UR in a one-syllable word or in the beginning of or the middle says as in burn or turtle. So that's just some guidelines. There's a written article of this as well. So if you didn't get that, no worries. Please click the link for the written article. As a final word, R-controlled vowels, frequency and use are key. Students need to see them, hear them, write them, play games with them, read passages with them before conquering the syllable type. And once the familiarity with these vowel sounds is born, once you really get it in there, the syllables should be pretty easy to conquer by them, because you've already done closed syllables, you've already done magic E syllables, and this should be just another syllable type, and they see it, they recognize it. It's almost like another word right there with the syllable. For close, is an example. They'll have seen for. So hopefully this vowel immersion will make it easy for syllable type. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will like and subscribe and visit my blog, ogforall.com, and certainly visit the workbook store. Have a great day.